Hey everyone, Diavolo here, and today we are going over probably one of the funniest fights that released throughout the year of 2023. Of course, this is the long-awaited battle between the planet's strongest esper and probably the strongest being in fiction, Tatsumaki versus Saitama. This battle here is taken from the entire One Punch Man Psychic Sisters arc, which is probably going to release in a week from now on my channel. If you guys do want to peep it earlier though, then make sure to go down and check out my Patreon in the description to get access to the larger videos I make half a week before I release them here on YouTube. Most other videos I usually chuck them up like a day or so before I release them here as well on Patreon. I can't thank you all enough for the support on the most recent One Punch Man video going over the Monster Association arc. That video has blown the actual hell up, and I promise you that I'm putting my all into creating even better quality videos for One Punch Man as we move forwards. Either way, enough of me rambling on. Subscribe if you are new around here and push this video to 3k likes. If we do end up smashing that goal before my planned release date of the Psychic Sisters arc, then I'll drop the next arc even earlier. Boosting it into the One Punch Man world, we find that in a moment of utter madness, Tatsumaki has confronted the entire Fubuki group and threatened to wipe them from the face of the planet. Showing the love that they have for their leader, the Fubuki group demands to know why. If they at least explain it to them, then maybe they can figure out a countermeasure. Enraged with their defiance, Tatsumaki sternly tells them that it's because of their stupidity their leader's life was put in danger. Fubuki doesn't need them anymore, and in her eyes, all of them are just a nuisance. If they don't decide to leave now, then Tatsumaki threatens that she'll make sure they can never work again. Fubuki screams out for her sister to stop. However, the one to grab the Esper's hand and put a stop to this complete rage fest was no one other than the Bald King. Asking what the hell he's doing, Saitama tells her that their two sisters are just like each other. This is going too far just to lecture someone. Meanwhile, and after having her hand grabbed by the big man himself, Tatsumaki asks if he's deaf or something, as she just told him to let go. Saitama replies that he's just trying to get her to calm the actual hell down, causing the Esper to throw Saitama through the association's base. Looking at the force being exerted on him, Saitama wonders if this was the same ability that sent Genos flying, and tells Tatsumaki that right now she's no different power-wise from Fubuki. Fubuki, having heard this, screams out in horror, not wanting Saitama to enrage her sister anymore. Just straight up pissed now, Tatsumaki screams for him to let go and begins trying to twist the bald man's body. Much to the surprise of the S-Class hero, Saitama is able to endure her attack, making her question what in the world's different about him. Chilling in his own strength dimension, Saitama starts to notice a subtle twitch in his muscles, making Fubuki think that he's easily able to withstand her sister's full power. Getting up close to him now, Tatsumaki remarks that she thought she'd seen him somewhere before. He's the baldy who's always chilling with the demon cyborg. Confused as to why he's here now, she asks if he's a part of the Fubuki group as well. Unconcerned for the child trying to escape his grasp, Saitama yells out for Fubuki to quickly evacuate everyone out of here before her sister accidentally kills them. Seeing how cute Saitama is with Fubuki, Tatsumaki, with a look I'm sure I've never even seen before, questions if that's the true reason as to why he's here now. Taking this question as like what he means exactly to Fubuki, Saitama says that it's not like he's her mate, or companion, or even close friend, you know, he's just simply an acquaintance of hers. Hearing this news sparks a flame within the heart of Fubuki and drops her to the floor completely unconscious. Looking hella devious herself, Tatsumaki asks why he'd get so desperate just over a simple acquaintance. Either way, in her eyes, she needs to test his strength levels to find out if he truly deserves to be hanging all over Fubuki like that, which is absolutely crazy, man. One Umurata, you guys are nuts for chucking that in there. I laughed so damn hard when I first saw that part. This whole part of the video, like, so far is just unrealistically funny, and it just gets even better as we go. Like, each part is even better and better and better. I don't get it, man. It's unreal, like, how continuously funny it is. Every situation Saitama is in is, like, half serious and just not at all. Like even here, he gets exactly what she's saying and even gets repulsed at the idea of it. Instead, he exclaims that it's hers, she's the one dragging him around all the damn time and just being a total pain. God, I love the look of like the starry-eyed Fubuki in the background just glaring at him. anyways, amping herself up, the surroundings all begin warping and twisting to the power increase in Tatsumaki's psychic outputs. Above, all of the residents begin freaking out over this apparent brand new building already suffering some damning issues. In the control room, Gesper yells out that the elevator to get to the lower floors broke. The other dude notes that some of the clients were in visitation with one of the prisoners, along with a select few heroes who have also been trapped down there.
As the basement starts twisting even more, slowly reaching the point where everyone might be crushed, Saitama tells Tatsumaki to stop treating people like trash. Instead, and to keep everyone safe, he grabs and pulls her in close to his chest, causing the Esper to feel some sort of way, before forcefully jumping towards the sky, taking Tatsumaki with him. Elsewhere, at the exact same time, a random family is seen travelling towards their new condo at the Hero Association headquarters. Knowing that the recent influx of monsters isn't going to stop anytime soon, the father notes that the 35-year loan is a small price to pay for them to live in peace. Unable to even fathom how long 35 years is, the son just begins getting hyped up over the thought of receiving signatures from his favourite heroes once they arrive. Suddenly, a glint of light pierces through the afternoon sky, confusing the father, who can't even see what it is. Of course, that sparkle in the sky was none other than Saitama and Tatsumaki, who end up crashing and bouncing along the ground next to the highway. Tatsumaki confusedly asks what the hell Saitama's up to before launching his body into a violent spin. Whipping the skateboarder down, she slams him into the ground. However, Saitama's grip holds firm upon her arm. A flustered Tatsumaki accuses Saitama of being into her, but Saitama corrects her by stating that he just doesn't really want her to run away and destroy more homes. Hearing him say run once more makes Tatsumaki explode in anger, as, in her mind, why the hell would she run away from someone weaker than her? Letting her hand go now, Tatsumaki instantly changes her mood and even acknowledges Saitama's strength, saying that it isn't half bad. Pulling her hand up to his forehead, she increases her psychic output just slightly, before flicking the caped baldy, sending him flying back into a pile of rubble. Looking up, Saitama notices that Tatsumaki has completely lost it and activated her signature tornado move. Over in the battle, Tatsumaki hurls a boulder directly at Saitama, yet he easily deflects it. Upping her attack potency, Tatsumaki sends a barrage of boulders towards him. Inside the control center of the Hero Association base, a bunch of low-class workers relay in horror that they've detected abnormal vibrations approximately 2 kilometers away from the base. Overhearing the commotion and knowing that Middle Knight is still unreachable, an overseeing advisor asks for them to begin assessing the disaster level. Based off the minimal information he's heard, the advisor guesses that they probably need an S-class hero and asks if anyone can be immobilized immediately. Outdoors, that random family who's trying to make their way to their new condo start hitting probably the fattest straight line drifts I've ever seen. Man is bringing back the Saudi drift king from out of freaking nowhere. Looking through his binoculars and somehow still sitting in his seat while his dad is doing the craziest maneuvers, the kid notices the amazing S-class hero Tatsumaki fighting a mysterious opponent. Of course, the dude flashing from rock to rock is none other than the bald legend. The father, who somewhat realizes how insanely dangerous of a situation this is right now, remarks that they should probably get away from here fast. The kid though, who's wanting so bad to smoke a family pack, begs for his father to get in closer as he can almost hear her voice. Suddenly, a massive boulder is sent barreling towards the car. Luckily, Saitama manages to save the family by destroying it in time. Annoyed, he screams out to Tatsumaki that she needs to pay attention on what's going on around her. Asking him why he's acting so damn pompous, Tatsumaki swells her energy up and sends another flurry of boulders while screaming that she knows what she's doing. Seeing the attack heading his way and figuring that she's probably not in the greatest of moods, Saitama comes to the conclusion that, for now, he'll keep her company in the desert where no buildings or people are, then eventually she'll wear herself out. Having not paid enough attention though, our dude accidentally deflects one of Tatsumaki's attacks into the direction of that same family. Vanishing from sight in an attempt to stop his own deflection, the car is then saved by the small Esper and pulled up into the sky with her abilities. Instantly, she turns the situation on Saitama and jokes that he needs to pay more attention when deflecting things. Furious, he asks the dumbass midget what the hell she just said to him. Literally vein popping with rage, Tatsumaki screams that she's going to turn the pathetic baldy into a vial of farming fertilizer. Dropping the car to the ground and leaving the family absolutely fretted with what they just went through, the psychotic Esper reactivates her terrible tornado ability and begins sending even more pieces of rubble in the direction of our now fleeing baldy. Curious as to why he's even fleeing now, she charismatically jokes that this is pathetic. There is no way she'd ever be able to entrust Fubuki to someone like him. Telling him that he needs to leave and get the hell away from her, Saitama scoffs at just how bizarre this has all become, but thinks all he wants to do right now is go home. With his motivation plummeting, Tatsumaki launches a psychic attack that blows off Saitama's jacket. Not done, she follows up and sends forth a blast that manages to knock the caped baldy off his feet. Flying across a random parking lot, Saitama is then hit by another few energy attacks that send him hurling miles across the barren landscape towards the closest city. Meanwhile, in N City, the A-class hero Feather is beaten and heavily injured by a group of random foes. One of the gang members joked that he went a bit wild for a bit and did manage to take a few of their guys down. However, with the injuries Feather's taken in the process, there's no way he can fight any longer. Turns out, Feather had only battled this notorious Iron Fist gang with the intentions of freeing a female hostage. Calling him an idiot for getting fooled, they ask the hero for any final words, only for the hero to ask about this random girl's safety. Scoffing at just how mentally deficient this hero is, the underling screams out for Erika to show herself. Turns out that Feather already knew this chick, I wonder how many chicks he knows, and was actually being fooled by her. She was never his woman, instead, Big Iron, the boss of the Iron Fist, is her man. Stunned and unable to take in this cruel piece of information, Feather can only listen as Erika explains about the first time she was sent out as a decoy to distract him from finding the gang. She thanks him for being so dumb he couldn't pick up on her terrible acting. From the moment he met her while crying, she could see the intent on his face to fix the situation. He truly is a model hero, yet she could barely even keep herself from laughing. Laughing himself now, Feather notes that she is indeed right. She is one of the worst actors he's ever met. As tears then suddenly begin dropping from her eyes, Big Iron, the man, barges onto the scene and questions as to why they're having so much trouble with a singular rat. Seeing that he's already on the verge of collapse, Big Iron threatens to finish the A-Class off with a single shot. Slowly rising to his feet and mentioning that this is perfect, with no hostage, it means that he can fully let loose. He yells out and demands that Erika watch this. This here will be his climax as a hero. What the fuck did I just say? Remixing the entire scuffle, Feather is all of a sudden taken out by a flying caped baldy who uncontrollably smashed through the wall behind him. Looking at the burly boys all standing in front of him, Saitama on all fours quickly apologizes for the damage, but asks for them to send the bill to the lady behind him. Looking over and seeing a bunch of guys on the ground, he yells out that someone should probably call an ambulance for them, as everyone here is in terrible shape. Jumping up into the cutout that Saitama made when he entered the building, the baldy tells her that it's dangerous to blast him through a building. Tatsumaki though is just like, bruh, you're the one who ended up blasting through it. Moving his head back and forth between each party because he doesn't know where to talk to or who to talk to or who to address, the baldy screams that it's her fault for launching him through the sky. The group themselves all just stand there, sweating in fear, as they know that standing behind the baldy, the number 2 hero, Tatsumaki, the tornado of terror, has entered their building. Instantly, the boss of the gang assumes Feather broke his promise and called the heroes out here. Screaming out, he tells his men that a single S-Class hero isn't strong enough to contend with them. Saitama tries telling him to chill, but the boss, pounds down upon the A-Class hero's head, only to instantly be counterattacked by one of Saitama's basic punches. Having watched their boss get sent into the stratosphere, Saitama nonchalantly asks who these guys are even meant to be. Rushing forth, all of the Iron Fist gang attempt to exact revenge for their boss. However, Tatsumaki demands that they all shut it. Her and him are already in the middle of a little something. A little while later, we see that those dastardly Iron Fist members have all been taken care of, and Feather has regained consciousness. Erika mentions that the S-Classes vanished, just like a storm in the night, after dealing with the enemies. Slowly making his own approach, Feather tries to tell her that he was never tricked. Instead, it's probably best they forget everything about the past so that now she can be free like she wanted to. Unconcerned for Feather, Erika mentions that the one who saved her was Tatsumaki and she needs to send a letter of appreciation. Staring into the distance, Feather knows that everything is now resolved, but he feels as if he was hit by a car. Knowing that he said this fight was going to be his climax, Feather makes the decision to return home and cry himself to sleep in an attempt to forget this day ever happened. As seen from the chopper above, the disaster-level dragon monster, Kenzen Rat, is continuing its destructive rampage. So far, the eastern portion of H City is almost completely destroyed. If this keeps up, then human civilization could possibly be in danger. At least, that's exactly how it feels if you're on the ground, situated like a reporter. It's also been reported that all police, firefighters, and heroes who were in the area have been completely wiped out. Coming in to save the day though, it's been heavily reported through online forums that the GOAT, S-Class hero, Metal Bat, is on the verge of making his appearance in H City. Cheering for her brother to make it there in time, we flash over to see a sweaty Metal Bat boosting it towards the monster and complaining about how he's going to miss out on his precious cat having kittens. Pissed cause how is it even possible he's the only S-Class hero available right now? Metal notes that if something happens to his cat, he'll legit murk a random civilian. Sliding into the monster's line of sight, Middle calls out to it and complains that because of this damn thing arriving, all transport was shut down and he's already had to run a freaking marathon just to get here. However, before he even has the opportunity to exact revenge on this rat, Kenzin is simply headshot and killed as collateral damage in the battle between Saitama and Tatsumaki. Screaming that he's a stubborn loser, Tatsumaki proceeds to throw Saitama through another 3 buildings. Coming to a stop at the other side, Saitama tells the Esper just to relax, man. Like the whole reason for coming out here to start with was to prevent damage. Metal Bat, having stood there and watched this entire altercation and just not in the mood after sprinting all the way to this scene, decides to turn around and go back home. Man wants to watch his kittens. Remember how Sweet Mask was over at that meeting shunning the bubbly boys or whatever? Well, turns out that the 3 buildings Tatsumaki threw Saitama through were directly opposite the building Mask was in. Noticing how far they have gone from their original location, Saitama suggests to Tatsumaki that both of them head back. Tatsumaki at first seems cooperative, dropping down and agreeing with him, but after he points out the direction they should travel, she proceeds to grab Saitama by his clean, shiny, bald head and leads him back to their original location by running his head into the ground at the same time. Looking back while being dragged, Saitama points out that there's something behind them. Breaking into an inner monologue, Tatsumaki knows that if this thing behind them is able to keep up with them, it must be a monster or some sort of hero. Turns out the fiend behind them was the ball-banging legend, Speedo Sound Sonic, who, for some reason, had a feeling that the man being treated like a ragdoll was none other than Saitama. Unconcerned for the previous scuffle, Speed throws a bunch of his weapons forth in an attempt to finally end his rival's life. These special ninja shuriken, they've actually been specifically engineered into a homing version that will track its target, then explode. Noticing them, Tatsumaki nonchalantly redirects all of his shuriken back at the ninja, catching him completely by surprise. In an instant, he begins dodging each of his own attacks, yet he fails to notice a nearby dog pooping on the floor and accidentally steps in it. Losing his balance, Speed... Fuck me, man. Losing his balance, Speed curses Saitama while simultaneously getting hit by his own exploding shurikens. After seeing that they're now back at their initial location, Saitama breaks loose from Tatsumaki's grip, astonishing her with his speed, before telling her that she can feel free to rampage here. Annoyed at him for looking down on her once more, Tatsumaki clarifies that she is actually the one testing Saitama, and claims she should go all out and put him in his place. Literally chilling with his hand in his pocket, Saitama then tells her to go all out on him, which once again surprises her. Up on the surface, Fubuki witnesses tornadoes along with a multitude of differing sized boulders smashing into and devastating the landscape due to Tatsumaki's increased psychic output. She screams out to her sister that this is too much and she needs to stop, but is quickly forgotten about as Tatsumaki beams Saitama through the sky. Over in the new base, King is seen at the entrance of Saitama's apartment and is panicking due to the surrounding catastrophe. Wondering where Saitama could possibly be at a time like this, our bald prophet suddenly shows up, crashing into the wall and telling King that he's currently too busy to play fighting games with him because he's dealing with someone. Curious as to who he's fighting, King inquires only to find out that it's this little pimpsqueak called Tatsumaki or something. Having heard Saitama make fun of her, Tatsumaki then dives straight in for a kick but misses and instead crashes into the wall as well. Of course, King, who just happened to be standing there and watching this, catches a glimpse of Tatsumaki's underwear, stunning him. Not wanting to give his composure away, King just stands there, looking composed and ready for anything as Tatsumaki then glides back towards the bald man. As the intense showdown continues to evolve, it sends even more tremors in the direction of the Hero Association. Forte and Ear, having felt the tremors, wonder what the hell is going on. Looking out the window and scaring the absolute life out of Forte, Saitama crashes into the wall just above his room. Confused, he inquires as to why he is out here, prompting Saitama to ask him about how his injuries are healing. Continuing to tell the young hero to stay in bed, the caped baldy leaps from the side of the building back towards the midst of destruction. After seeing the destruction that his fellow A-class hero left to join, Forte decides to wait a while before his rematch with him. After arriving at the surface themselves, the remnants of the Blizzard group is left gobsmacked after seeing just how out of control Tatsumaki is. Swooping in over the C-class heroes, Tatsumaki knows that she ended up miscalculating the outputted power of her limit's limit. To start with, she was meant to be testing this guy, yet it's all flipped up on its head now. Up until now in her life, there has never truly been an opponent that was able to take her head on, apart from, obviously, Blast. In all actuality, she was enjoying this battle, as before it, she assumed that the only person capable of standing against her was Blast, like I just said. Needing to bring this pointless show of strength to an end, Tatsumaki begins tearing up the ground and contorting all of the rubble into 2 large waves that clash into each other. Upon forming a tunnel-like structure, the Esper then collapses it upon the ant-sized man underneath. Not even a fraction of a second later, Saitama performs an effortlessly unharmed swing, throwing his arm up and dispersing all of the rubble around him. Dropping to the ground exhausted due to the psychic output of that attack, Saitama jokes that she really didn't need to go and push herself that far, and she just to have enough strength to talk with him at the end of the day. Snapping at him, the Esper catches Saitama in an orb of her psychic energy. However, he's so damn heavy that she's barely able to even pick him up off the floor. Asking why she's looking so grumpy, Saitama reiterates that he isn't her enemy. Like he mentioned before, it's just she views the lives of human relationships too lightly. For example, right now she's being stopped by the power of Fubuki's mere acquaintance. Hearing those words, and after failing to send Saitama into space, Tatsumaki loses consciousness from overusing her power. Dropping to her knees, she starts to remember how Blast told her that she shouldn't ever expect someone to come and save her. Moments after Blast had saved her in the past, Tatsumaki immediately reunited with Fubuki in order to protect her. After noticing that she was being followed by 4 Tsukuyomi members, Tatsumaki disposed of them before once again asking Fubuki to come with her. The shock of witnessing her sister's violent acts caused the 5-year-old Fubuki to awaken her psychic power and push Tatsumaki away. As this self-reflection of hers continues, she comes to see that it was her that dragged Fubuki to a harsh fate. Because of that, she now feels like she has the responsibility to protect her without relying on anyone else. Actually crazy when you think about it. The reason behind Tatsumaki wanting to constantly protect her sister was because she was the reason she developed powers in the first place and now feels responsible for people like possibly coming after her and stuff. Awakening in a bright place, Tatsumaki sees Blast standing in the distance. Walking up to him, she asks if this is where he's been all along. Seeing him leave though, she can't help but run after him and plead for him not to leave. Throughout the story so far, the only one to set Tatsumaki free was Blast. Due to this, she grew an obsessive, excessive expectation of Blast. She sought respect from the one that freed her and needed someone to guide her on a better road. Catching up to him now, Tatsumaki just says that she tried really hard, but nothing ever works out. She doesn't want everyone to hate and be afraid of her, but if they aren't, then things will just end up how they were before. Standing there with tears in her eyes, she questions the top-ranking hero about what she should do, when suddenly, an even brighter beam of light begins cutting its way into this already glistening realm. Of course, she was just waking up, and above her was the gleaming bald king, Saitama, looking down and asking if she was actually okay.
Well, that brings us to the end of this freaking hilarious and honestly completely unserious battle between Saitama and Tatsumaki. Some of the moments throughout this battle had me in freaking stitches, like King seeing Tatsumaki's underwear for some reason just had me absolutely dead. I'm old, I shouldn't even be laughing at that kind of stuff, but just him trying to stay composed is far too good. Make sure to let me know down in the comment section what your favourite moment throughout the battle was, and what other fights from throughout One Punch Man you'd want to see me cover in the future. Either way, like I said, push this video to 3,000 likes if you want to get the next part early, or go over and check out my Patreon to see it now. Massive thanks to all of my amazing Patreons for supporting there, and just to all of the people who watch my content in general. We've had an absolutely amazing year with this channel, and I honestly couldn't be happier with how much everything's changed in the last 2 years. Before YouTube, I was lost and really didn't know what to do, but now I feel like I've got a proper purpose, so thank you all for that. Enough of me rambling on. For now, it's been your professional degenerate Diavolo, and I will see you all in a bit. Bye.